Man, Syria, such a culturally rich country, and yet the ghosts of its tragic recent history are all around, some still very much alive. Rubble and destruction, even if by now tidied up, define completely abandoned neighborhoods, villages, entire towns, all dotted with countless bullet holes. There are numerous military checkpoints. El Presidente's face stares down at you from every billboard. There's crazy inflation, electricity is highly unreliable, and there's an ever-present feeling of caution, for you never know who might be watching over your shoulder. And yet, despite the intense hardships and deep trauma shared by all Syrians today, those who remain in their country refuse to be defined by war, conflict, or instability, and strive for a chance of a calm, peaceful, ordinary existence. Even after the civil war, which displaced some half of the population, millions of Syrians do remain in their country today. Seemingly forgotten by the outside world, their personal human stories near entirely missing from the rare news reports. Despite my life being rich in cultural experiences and colorful adventures all around the globe, I knew little about the Arab world. Then one day, a friendly hello from Ahmad, a tour guide from Aleppo, simply appeared in my inbox. We started exchanging memes, and a few messages later, I asked Ahmad if I could visit him for Ramadan. He offered to pick me up in Beirut, the easiest entry point to Syria, and soon enough, anxious but excited, I was on my way to this place few foreigners dare venture out to.
Syria, it's part of the Mesopotamian region, which is where first civilizations were created. It has seen the Roman Empire, the Persian Empire, the Byzantines, the Muslims, the Ottomans, the French colonialism, and has been through some really rough times. And in the past 10 years, it has been through a brutal war.
I just had to exchange money. This is exactly $200. That's a lot of freaking bills. I don't know what's the point of a wallet even at this point.
What's
How
up?
are you doing? Good to
All
see
good,
you.
all good, all good, all good. Long road.
Hello.
Huh? Hi.
Established sometime between 10,000 and 8,000 BC, Damascus, poetically called the City of Jasmine, is one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in the world. The city has for a long time been a major cultural and trade center of the Arab region. Just in 2023, some fancy upscale Western publication also called Damascus the least livable city in the world. That only makes me like it more. Reminds me of Asia. Feels like home. Having been largely spared from destruction during the war, Damascus alone doesn't exactly reflect the reality of the country's situation. Still, the city very much struck me as a place where in different social political circumstances I could see myself staying long term. We stopped at this coffee shop and apparently this is Mr. Golden Man, right? Mr. Golden Man has a lot of gold. It's real gold?
ليس لك هذا ذهب حقيقي.
طبعا
Real gold.
of course
Amazing.
of course
And this real gold too?
كله
It's amazing. And the glasses?
كله
It's amazing.
He wants to ask you something.
All right.
Have you heard the film before?
I have not until 5 minutes ago.
يلا ها.
3 most interesting things to do in Damascus. Oh, that's a tough one. It's a tough one because
There's only 2.
Exactly.
Since Ahmad was still half asleep, I took over as the guide and we headed across town to the friendly little slice of North Korea, right here in Syria. Back in 2012, I shot my feature documentary in North Korea. Over a decade later now, I can't help feeling a similar sentiment filming in Syria. It's not unfounded either.
In September 1974, Syrian President Hafiz al-Assad met Kim Il-sung and told him that he was greatly impressed by the fact that Kim Il-sung had created a brilliant example by applying the Tutsi idea in all fields of social life.
Since the 1960s, DPRK and Syria have enjoyed strong mutual relations. North Korea helped Syria build a nuclear reactor based on their own high-tech industry, and when the regional archenemy of Disneyland bombed the reactor, Korea supported the Syrian government in its military endeavors and on the global political stage. In other words, best friends forever. And yet, the soldiers at the October War Panorama Museum built by the Koreans won't let us in. Such places tend to be closed for some non-specific holiday anytime you show up unannounced. 1-0 North Korea, or Syria, I don't know. But I still have some time left here, and I don't give up easily.
Syria is the first Syrian comedy club.
It's a way where people can breathe. Like a lot of people tell us, like we were sitting home depressed. They tell us it's a cure. Like we were depressed, we come, we have a laughter for 2 hours, we go back, we think about it. It turned into a meditation state for some people.
We're out here shooting with the Syria crew at an underground metro, unbuilt, unfinished station that's been taken over by influential underground communities, and now it's being used for car drifting, car racing, car washing, car fixing, and we have no light. How convenient. What's the deal? Why are we in the darkness?
Because it's Syria. It's normal. We look like bats, I swear to God.
Did you bring us some electricity?
No.
Oh, shame.
I have flash on my phone, but I don't have enough charge.
Charlie Chaplin said, life is a tragedy if you are inside, but if you are outside, life is a comedy.
Syria, man, is a dream coming true. It started as my dream and become Milky dream, Jayab dream. It's our dream, actually. We're funny people in life, I guess. It's our defense mechanism.
We live a lot of problems. So if
Yeah.
you wanna take each problem and think about it and analyze it, and it's so hard. It's so hard.
We
So
turn
we
it,
joke about
yes,
it.
we
So
turn
we
the
joke-
tragedy into jokes. Tragedy plus time equals comedy. So this is what happened to us for 12 years. We waited 12 years. Now the tragedy is gone with time. So it turns into joke. We can joke about it now to get it off our chest.
Where are we going, guys?
To Sharif's
house.
My place. It's
Sharif
now
crib.
about time to fasting. Jayab is fasting. He's acting like a bitch. I only need nicotine. Yalla, 5 minutes you can smoke.
Here is very yummy shawarma place.
Yeah.
It's called shawarma Danur. And Umami is
Umami is a sushi place. It's a very high class
Yes,
place.
yes.
You need to pay with gold, you know. This is the area of the hotels. look on your right. It's a very big place, man. We used to play cards in college over there.
This place were built by the French.
It used to be a station from here to Saudi Arabia by train.
This is the caravans.
This is like a strip club, but Arab one. Like the belly dancers.
And a lot of guys. 5 women, 500 men. A strip club, not for your clothes, for your money.
This one is Yusuf Al-Admi. He go fight the French on donkeys, like 300 people. They got their home-made gun and they go to fight,
They
you know?
were the first line to defend Damascus.
We lose, but we make a statement. This is the central bank.
Central bank. I have money inside my pocket more than they have inside.
And this area is called the Seven Fountain. There is no fountain working, but there is 7 fountain.
They have rebuilt it 1 year ago from money tax. This is how we rebuilt Syria. It used to have a fountain with 7 layers.
No.
This is why it was called the 7 fountains. Now 6 balls, fountains, and 1 big ball. So they should call it 7 balls.
This is my school. It used to be a prison. Wallah man. This is the eye of the belly. This is the hood, man. This is where my mom actually from.
I've done the fast, ending the fasting. Now let's go eat. A lot of water, and a lot of juice, and a lot of smoke.
And he's not fasting, he's Christian actually, but he do more
I do Muslim rituals.
stuff more than us.
مرحبا اهلا فيكم عند امي. هون عندي انا بالبيت هون بهي الغرفه تاسست ستيريا صراحه، وفي عيال كثير تاسست من هون كمان. When different people come, different religious background, because this is what we have over here, or from what area, when people are joking about all this shit together, they can live together, you know. We can start looking to the part like after, what we're gonna do after. Stop living in what happens, what we're gonna do next.
We brought a popcorn machine. مين بعد اشتغل عليها؟
There is taboos everywhere. If you go to any country, some people want to hear about religion, some people don't. In America, anywhere. Some people want to hear about this side of politics, some people not. We're talking simple comedy, like we're hitting the taboos. Politics, we don't touch it, we don't go near it, we don't understand it. But the other things, we're smart about it.
This is the stage, you will see it inside.
Jayab, do it, he did it.
It's
all of them.
It's
He's
nice.
Most of the topic comes from our life. We are talking about ourselves. And there is no red line in talking about yourself. We take consideration. Our families are watching this, so how they can respond to it. So I respect the way they see stuff, and I write something for them and for me also.
This is the first time, Mount. Like, this is the first time we turn a house into a stage.
You have to understand your crowd. If you are going to do a stand-up comedy inside what should I say, a school, so you're doing jokes for kids. You won't tell them jokes above 18.
Choosing the right material.
Okay,
Choosing
we can
the-
This is welcome to Syria.
Yes.
Yeah, we can we're going to put the generator. No, we can put it now. بلاقهم.
ما بعرف شغلة.
I go.
I go.
I see. Just 1 minute.
Will you lose power during the show?
Yes, but we solve that. We put bicycle and we connect it to the system and everybody goes. See this? This biceps from the last show we did, I do it like this.
We usually make our shows at this cafe, but now it's closed, so we have to find another place. No better place than Sharif's home. So we are trying to make it a fun place and to make it a fun event. And we hope we can...
May we throw her stuff on the house.
ماما قد محريسة وبتبالغ وهيك. كل ما يكون عندنا شو برا الشام تتصل على شريف توصيه فيني انه الله يخليك ميمي وكذا مدري شو. شريف الحمصي خريج حبوس ماسوني. بيشرب دم بدل اللي فيمته على الفطور. كل ما يلزمني شيء بيقول لي اذا لازمك اغراض قولي لي. دقت له ماما كنا بطرطوس، قالت له مين معك؟ قال لها العيار الخفيف ولا الثقيل؟
لا يا هذيك ما تلمح. والله ما في شيء من اللي قالته صح، انا مالي ماسوني. ما say hi tomorrow. Lara.
Hello.
Hi.
And who's that?
This is Maro.
Hey, baby. Hello, love.
I told the guys, go search for names for our project. The one who named it, he was a co-founder. He's now in Dubai because here he don't want to go to the military. So if you don't want to go, you travel. And Ubada go back and told us Syria because it's come from
Syria and the hysteria.
Yeah, because it's hysterical over here, man. After what we went through, I don't feel our comedy or our situation is normal. It's hysterical, man. So we want to get this laugh out of people.
This is our DIY spotlight because we didn't have the money to get a new one. So we did it out of plastic tubing and some random lamp. Look, you get it like a spotlight. But now we have light. When we turn them off, we have a spotlight on the face. Now I put it there. Like this on the face.
This is a pipe for shit. Literally. No, I'm not joking. This is a shit pipe. We are put it. Yeah. We put light in it and boom.
Art has no form, but it's the highest form of art, man. When you draw laughter, we want to be a heritage. We don't want to be a trend. Oh, they're funny. Look on video where they disappear like anything. No, we want to create a job, a career. You can be a comedian. You can
We
speak.
are beginning
You can
a
talk.
new market in Syria.
Yeah.
Our color is gray and yellow, so I want something yellow anywhere.
Man, let me tell you, it's fucking hard to do something in Syria. It's hard, man. It's hard because the economy is fucked. No. It's war, man. And now we're having the after effect of war. So the economy is fucked. Everything is fucked.
We are preparing stickers for a new popcorn brand. It's by Mimi. By me. It's a new project. I will work on it starting from here. Let's see where it goes.
This is our secret light system. We don't tell anyone about it. You film it, you are lucky. You see, yeah? You are fortunate. No, that's it. You're gonna pay money for it. Our air filter system. It's amazing. It's bring air here and push it out. That's it. It's simple.
Is your biggest fan?
No, the only one. Only fans. Are you recording? This is our sound system. This, more important than me in the show. This, the only thing that make everything come together. Ta-da! Check. وخنان شو هاد؟ This is our food system. No, I'm joking. This is my friend.
Malos, Carondo, Arabato.
He is speaking a language we don't know about, and the native speaker of it, he is only the one.
Let me translate for you about the food. This is farrouj. Farrouj. This is riz. This mukassarat maqliye. Now Ramadan.
This Ramadan is very easy because the weather is really nice. And the hard part, we have 1 hour of electricity. The most amazing thing is the gathering. You know, everyone on the table at the same time. Like in normal condition, we don't have it yet because you're on the phone on the table, you know? So the gathering. And our kitchen, similar, Lebanese, Palestinian, same food, Turkish, because they stayed here like 400 or 500 years, so mutual food, you know? Usually we sit on chairs, actually, we have a table, but now it's Arabic, we call it Arabic Meddi. After the fasting, life start at night in Ramadan. Like now, from 7 p.m. until 4 o'clock, until 4 in the morning, people on the streets, you know, buying some clothes for Eid or just walking, having fun.
When the war began, I was only 12. I was not allowed to go outside of my home without my parents because you can get kidnapped for money. But for him, he was like 18, 19, and his parents doesn't care if he gets kidnapped.
Those years of war, it went bad to a lot of families. Sharif went to UAE.
I stayed 1 year in Europe.
Each family have the child out.
In our community, we live together when you're born till you know your grandfather. We all live in the same area, not like Europeans. When you're 18, you go outside, you do whatever you want.
I love the war because you have to grow faster than your age. Yani I feel like 70 sometimes, wallah, because your pain and your thinking is more than normal. The war started for 90s, my generation. We were in college, man. We wanted to graduate and see our life, and phew, it's gone. You cannot travel. The Syrian passport is it's like I don't know, it's Korean passport. At this time, we saw the internet come to us. So you're looking to the world, and we want to see that, we want to do that, but you can't. So the artist over here, it was our time to rebel. We want to freaking live, man. So we have our own community. How the techno scene started, everything started underground.
Art need craziness.
Yeah, man, for sure.
Yeah. That's
need hysteria. Need hysteria. Yeah.
All the alternative media platforms. Here, it's hard to work with them or be on them.
We cannot promote ourselves on Instagram because we're not allowed. We have what you call sanctions.
We don't have TikTok.
Yeah.
We can't use TikTok.
Yeah, so
this
basically,
is a privilege.
Basically,
this is a good thing.
We depend on the real experience of people coming to our shows. I'm gonna say, oh, they are nice, let's go and see him. That's what gonna make a word of mouth.
How many people are you expecting tonight?
40 to 50 people. 20%, we know them through stand-up comedy. The rest are friend and friend of friends, you know.
And how do people know about the event that it's here? I mean, you're not doing it at the cafe tonight.
WhatsApp.
Just on WhatsApp?
WhatsApp, confirm on WhatsApp, you're coming, sure, خلاص, on WhatsApp, man. And thank you, Ringy.
Oh, thank you.
Man,
appreciate it.
شو اسمك أول؟ سيلفانا، واو. كنا ندخن شغلة اسمها سيلفانا.
I'm writing jokes about everyone, so everyone can read it and laugh and pay.
عمر جياب يحتاج عملية أنف. That's me, عمر جياب. I have to get a surgery for my nose so I can stop being ugly. So please pay for him. This one say pay money for him to get a haircut. Haircut.
Because he looks like shit.
Yes.
Smile.
تفاعل قد ما بتضحك لا تبينوا شوام في أجانب. Pay as much as you laugh. Don't look like Syrian. There is foreign people here.
Foreign.
مو foreign?
Foreign.
Foreign.
شريف يحتاج بوكسرات جديدة. شريف need new boxers. اللي ما بيدفع أمه قطرية. Who doesn't pay his... لك شو هاد؟ شوفي أنت. Don't. Cut.
Are you ready for the show?
I'm ready. It's a different show, man, because it's in my place and the vibe is different. And I'm ready. Look, like everything is perfect, man. I'm gonna move my parents out, give them some money. I'm not joking, wallah. I'm thinking about it and let it. خلاص, look, it's fucking amazing.
It's awesome.
And there is a 12 cat inside, wallah. If we let it out, we're fucked.
هاد أغرب وأخرس شيء بشوفه بحياتي اليوم. مو معقول كمية الشلش اللي نحن فيه، وحياة الرب في بساس هون، في بولندي، في مكنة بوشار محروقة، في عالم هيك، وبيت شريف يعني هون كلها أحلام بعد الظهر. أنا ما تقررت بطلت صوم يعني. That's it يعني.
Guys, thank you. شكرا كثير اجيتوا.
Syria crew immediately became my Syria crew. We could have easily spent my whole stay together exploring the hidden underground scene of Damascus. But I was curious how different life was outside the capital city, and so I headed out on a little trip.
Busra, it was called the Golden City because between the rocks, they used to put like shine metal, something like glassy. It was not gold, but it shines because it reflects the light. But most of these metal things were stolen also during the war. This place back to 106, so beginning of 2nd century, and it's the most well-preserved Roman theater in the world. It luckily survived. There's one small missile, but they repaired most of the damage.
We're ending the tour a little bit quickly because we just got word of peaceful protests possibly about to happen in the area. The peaceful protest got delayed until later because apparently they decided that there are too many tourists in town. They don't want to inconvenience us. There's all 2 of us. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, but there's nobody here. Not locals, not tourists, not visitors.
This is the grape press. These are for fermenting, and this is where they prepared and stored their wine. And this castle used to have about 2,000 soldiers stationed here, so you can imagine how much wine they'd be drinking. This is where they process and press and store olive oil. Olive is rich in calories, so in order to sustain a siege and to keep your soldiers healthy and fighting, you need a lot of calories. Soldiers would only need some dried meat, some olive oil and some bread, and that's a good meal for a soldier to withstand the siege. We're going to Arwad Island, the only inhabited island on the eastern coast of the Mediterranean. The importance of the island comes from the boats that they manufacture here. During festivities, most of the children, they go out and buy a small chick. But unfortunately, these chicks are not vaccinated, so they don't survive very long. And that's the first trauma any Syrian kid has.
You killed it. You broke its arms and wings and...
Sorry, no, I'm sorry. I actually made it live more than 2 weeks. I made it live like 14 months.
Many people, Christians of course, come to this town of Maaloula because they are one of the early places where Christianity started to grow.
There was an old princess who converted to Christianity against her father's wishes. So her father had her fed to the lions, but the lions didn't eat her, just made friends with her, helped her get away. And so then she came running away from her father to this mountain that opened up into this grand canyon right here. to create an escape path. And so she walked through the canyon, got away from her father and from his soldiers, and prayed to God and devoted her life to promote Christianity. Surely true story.
مشتل أوبو إبري وروحو كتشو هوش أخ الأوانة عم توي التهرة آمين أوبو حتي بشمو يتكتش إشمخ تثيلي ملكخ يتكن تتشبع عيلي اخمل بشموخت على رع أبليح لحمح أخ اليومح غفر ليح احتيوتح اخمل أنا مغفري انتي مخت عمينح لا تعبرينا حتى غربتشا بس حسيناح مشيدا آمين.
So many pilgrims come to visit Maaloula, and this is one of the few hotels that are in the area. During the war, it was used by Al Qaeda branch in Syria as a base of operation, but now it's a stronghold for tourists. This is the reception area. Over there, you go to the pool and the tennis court. Over here, you have the kitchen. And going up, you have the rooms. Before the war, you needed to make a reservation almost a year in advance because it was so full all the time. The explosives is on this part over here, and the propulsion is over here. So it flies into a tank or a wall or something, and the part in the front explodes, and this is what remains.
Due to Syria's international isolation, barely any aid enters the country, and almost all foreign humanitarian organizations have left. That's why I was thrilled to visit one rare NGO project, which within its limited means still manages to spread fun throughout its community.
When I was young, instead of talking about like games, what the young people talk about, we were talking about the airplanes and explosions, gunshots. This is what the kids were thinking about all the time. It was really hard. When they first built the skate park, it was the only place I started going to, and then it's changed my life really. Growing up in Syria makes the kids adults when he's still young. I spend most of my time as a child in my house. I only go to school and go back to the house. I didn't have any friends. It was so dangerous to go outside. There will be so many bad people outside. Maybe they may hurt you or may kidnap you. It was before way dangerous than now, but now it's way much better. 2019, it was like destroyed place here. The government and organizations came and started working on the skate park. People who were working at the skate park here, they were all foreigners, not from Syria. And when they opened the skate park, I was like so excited because I want to like come and look what's happening inside there. And then I started coming every day and see how they work and helping them. They were all skaters and they teach me how to skate. And then one of them recommended me so I can be a coach here to teach the kids and help them at the skate park.
Something that really struck me in Syria is that from far away, especially outside of the city, it looks like a normal town, but then you come close and you see empty buildings and empty soccer fields without kids kicking ball. And there's really not that many people. So many abandoned villages, so many abandoned towns, so many ghost towns. And it's so awesome to see a place like this that actually caters to kids and offers them something cool, something fun, something positive to do every day.
When the park was first opened, the people were really excited to come and try skateboarding because it's something new to them. They only see it in cartoons or in movies. This is the only skate park in Syria. We don't have skate parks at all. So it's a unique thing. Here we have girls more than boys. The girls here are way talented and way better skaters than the boys. And they are really good actually at skateboarding.
Do you have your own favorite skateboard?
Yes.
That one. And who's the best skater here?
مين أحسن واحد؟
أنا بتزلج هون من 6 سنين، يعني بقضي وقتي وبتسلى مع رفقاتي ومع المدربين، بتسلى بتزلج. أنا قبل ما كنت أجي لهون كنت أتسلى على الجوال، أنا أكثر حركة بحبها هون هي التشفيط، صار لي تقريباً يعني شي شهر، يعني حتى ما كنت على الأخير، أنا أكثر حركة بحبها هون هي التشفيط، وتقريباً صار لي شي أسبوع عم نساويها.
Faced so many challenges. Now we don't have any good skateboards. All our skateboards we have, it's broken. It's not good for use for skateboarding. And we don't have any equipment. It's really hard to get some equipment from outside or anything to fix the skateboards. And we don't have any places in Syria to buy from. And if we wanna find somehow a way to get it, it would be way too expensive. The skateboards keep getting smaller and smaller from the sides. They keep getting broken, but we are trying to keep fixing them somehow. We put some grip tape, we try to fix the bearings. This is the much we can do about the skateboard. If there was no skate park, the kids will stay all the time in the streets. There's no place to go. There's no place to be in. Life for kids today in Syria is way better than before. It's safer now. And you don't have to worry about going out to the streets at night or in the morning or to school. You know that nothing's gonna happen. It will be a little bit complicated, but it will be so much beautiful if we make more skate parks in Damascus maybe, or in different places in Syria like Aleppo or Latika, so we can spread more skateboarding community in Syria. It will be so beautiful. We have everything. We have bicycles, we have motorcycles, but we don't have skateboards. So skateboard will be a beautiful add to this sports in Syria we have here.
Since my time in Syria was apparently not eventful enough, the next day I woke up with pretty severe tooth pain. Lucky for me, half the people in the country are apparently dentists.
أنا مسجلة طب أسنان بجامعة خاصة. من فترة اشتغلت لمريض لبية. بعد يومين من ما اشتغلت له قال لي وشي مرم والسن ملتهب وعيوني ما عم بقدر افتحها، شو الحل؟ قلت له والله لازم تشوف دكتور بأسرع وقت.
How are you feeling?
How much is this adventure gonna cost?
1,378,000.
This is how many Assads roughly that is. 2 root canals end up costing less than $100. Makes sense to visit Syria for dental work, I guess.
Still, $100 is an amount completely out of reach for most Syrians.
This is 500,000 Syrian pounds. Before the war, I could buy a car with this much money. Now, maybe a dinner for two. With the war and after, because so many businesses were simply destroyed, and because of the sanctions, because of the blockade, the salaries almost mean nothing now. People have to work 2-3 jobs to survive.
Bro, nobody know how people are surviving. They have a job and 10,000 side hustle job, or I don't know what people do.
To get a quarter of what you think they're getting.
Man.
Not
what we should get.
In any family, the father works, the mother works, the oldest child works. Everybody has to work in order to provide the basic necessities. Now in 2023, the average salary of a person in Syria is between $20 and $30. That's for most jobs, like school teachers, nurses, doctors, engineers, lawyers, government employees.
I was trying to shoot some Damascus B-roll, but filming in Damascus tends to be kind of tricky, well, everywhere in Syria, because everywhere you look, someone important has their residence, and of course it's never marked, but you point the camera in the direction and you suffer consequences. Everywhere else you look, there's an army check, and you can't point the camera there either. Half the time you don't know who's who and who's what kind of secret service. So half the time I pick up the camera and I see Ahmad freaking out. So instead we come to a concrete park. I don't think there's anything sensitive here unless someone's hiding in the bushes. I can't film El Presidente's palace because we'll get arrested. I can't film anything around because there's shady guys in black suits. So I'm chilling in a swing in a concrete Soviet-era playground. Yeah, it's fun too, I guess.
Damascus was the capital of the Umayyads. The Umayyads is a name of a family that ruled the Islamic world for about 75 years. The Umayyad Caliph was the ruler of an area spanning from Spain in the west all the way to the borders of China in the east. So, in order to show the opulence of that caliphate, they had this mosque built in Damascus, in the capital.
Since it's Ramadan time, it's like minutes away from the moment when Muslims can eat, and we're sitting here in front of God's clock, getting ready for the countdown. Ahmad's got his dates and his drink ready already, waiting to go.
Halal style.
Halal style. What's special about the Ramadan market?
It's like a Christmas market but with Muslims.
We start eating at 7 p.m. but I'm Christian, I don't give a shit. I recommend chicken popcorner here because he will feed us for free.
But I don't know.
Fried chicken
With my father and
covered with cornflakes.
With cornflakes.
It's diabetes.
It's a falafel option over there.
Falafel burger.
Let's do that. Falafel burger sounds great. I'm starving.
Some salad, do you want some salad?
Yeah.
Matt, try some sweet.
We are doing the unpackaging in English. We open the box.
Oh
Here
my
we have
God.
Mr. Matt, we have Yaranji, Syrian specialty, made of Turkish.
This is a traditional Syrian dish. It's so yummy, and you have to try it.
Yogurt with fried bread.
Fried bread.
Yes.
And hummus.
Yeah.
And hummus, yes,
no,
hummus.
ورق عنب.
This is فتة ورق عنب.
لانجي.
Yeah.
And
Resin paper.
And a cave guy explaining about it.
Taste.
I hate coming here. I love people, but here the only shit we do is we create a whole market. It's about eating. Bro, people just, yeah, you know, you see my face? Refugee 101. You try this boat first, then you go to Turkey, and then you go to Greece. You see?
It's beginner's level.
The real boat.
You put at a zero.
1,000 from Turkey to Greece. Yeah. But if you're a rich one, pay 3,000, get a yacht.
So we have the price because I wanted to go there.
Right.
Yeah, in 2015, 16, I finished university.
Right.
Everything was fucked up. I called my dad, listen, bro, you send me $2,000-3,000. I go to Europe. I love you so much. He say, wait. But I was planning because all my friends is there now. We did like a meeting together, all our friends. He said when we become rich in our 30s, 35, we will meet in Vegas in 2020. But now no one become rich, so we delay it to 2030. We plan it like 2030. We're gonna go spend a month in Amsterdam, you know? خلاص.
Here's a Syrian shopping mall. This is a country that was bombed barely 72 hours ago, barely 5 minutes from here, and life goes on. Somehow, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. There's Ahmad. Oh, what's up?
Try this. This is the real taste.
All right.
At the wartime, I used to paint some things only with pencils, and everywhere we used to go outside of the house, I always take with me the bag with all my colored things inside, and there would be bombing sounds outside, and I was like so calm painting with my colors and everything. The people like, how you can focus on this? And I'm like, it's my thing. I don't really care about it. I just wanna like do my art. There aren't many opportunities for artists here in Syria. I tried at the beginning to make some paintings and sell it, but I saw that it was not that good. So I tried to make paintings into different things that people maybe use, like shisha bags, women bags, paint on them or stitch them with some pearls and stones. As a business, I first started doing art 3 years ago. The volunteers who were here, they encouraged me to start my business. I told them like, no one will buy from me. And they told me, no, your art really beautiful and you can make so much out of it. And they convinced me and they ordered from me the first order. It was like 10 or 20 pieces of dream catchers. They want to take it to Germany. And I made it to them and I give it to them. And the people loved it, really. And everyone who took from me, they reordered again, and it's giving me a lot of income. Every month there's one event. It's an event for a small business to sell his stuff. You can rent a table here and then you can sell your stuff on it. This is one of my shisha bags. I painted on it. Also, I made slippers like this. I get some diamonds and stick them to the slippers. And also, I make some bracelets like this. Today, I didn't sell anything yet, but hopefully soon, maybe I can sell some things.
Before heading out, we got treated to a festive Ramadan performance.
Homs wasn't particularly famous for its industry or for its food. However, it was very famous for its people. The people are so welcoming and so friendly. And I have to say this, the girls are so pretty in Homs. This particular area is a residential area, and the place speaks for itself. Since 2012 all the way to 2016, the city was divided in half. Half of the city was controlled by the fighters, and the other half was still under government control. And urban warfare is a bitch. You can see the bullet holes. The human life cost is so high because it's street to street, alley to alley, sometimes room to room. So 4 years of war, conflict, wall to wall, street to street, leaves the city looking like this. These are people's homes, dreams, future. You can imagine one day you have a house, you're starting your family, the other day you live in a camp somewhere. Some of the previous owners of these homes, it's their entire life saving, and maybe they have a mortgage, but they still own money for a house that they can't use. Most of them, because it's so difficult to live here, because of the economic situation, because of the high cost of rebuilding, restarting their life, they simply chose to move somewhere else and start their life from scratch. Some of them went to Aleppo, some of them went to Damascus, some of them chose to leave the country in order to start from zero, or sometimes below zero because they are in debt. You can imagine how hard it is to function under this situation. It's so hard to get gas, to provide the basic necessities, and it's all because of sanctions and blockade. Simple daily necessities, basics of life, are now considered luxuries. So would you return?
Are there plans or efforts to rebuild?
You've seen the city. So few people live here. So rebuild for who? And by who? Some places you can still see like family pictures or a bedroom still hanging like. I think this is cassette tape. No one uses cassette anymore. This is a relic from 12 years ago, the beginning of the war. It's what they call it, 8-track or 8-track, I don't know. It says Holy Quran, recited by Mahmoud Khalil al-Husari. So yeah, it's a Quran record. Here's one too, here's another. During the war, the fighters, they would be using this as a base, and using big sledgehammer, they'd break a hole and use it to shoot at the other side. And to avoid being detected from the air, they break holes between the walls to move from one building to the other. This was probably an office building. Usually they are higher than residential buildings, and that explains why the fighters would prefer to use this as a base, because it usually has a basement which is protected from mortars and shells. So they would use the bottom, the basement like storage for their munitions, for their, they maybe sleep there. And the top floor, usually it's over six or higher, 6 floors or higher. They would use the top floor for like a sniper nest, targeting anything that moves. Some people thought that it's going to be like a couple days or a week and we will go back to normal life. But 4 years later, things didn't go back to normal. We think, oh, we have skyscrapers, we have shopping malls, we have this great mosque, this great church, this great cathedral. It humbles you to think that human beings are just a brief second in the history of the planet. In the decade before the war, there was a plan to make Homs a regional trade center for the entire Middle East. It's a flat ground, no mountains, good road infrastructure, close to the coast. We have ports for export to Europe. The railway used to go from Turkey to Homs from Homs to Damascus, all the way to Iran, from Iran to Central Asia. Homs was starting to see huge development, so many skyscrapers that were still being constructed. I was standing here and I saw one of the skyscrapers being built. They call it the Gardenia Tower. See? It was en route to becoming something modern, something worthy of the people living here. And everything just stopped when the war started.
This all used to be ISIS territory not so long ago. It's quite beautiful if you don't know where you are.
This area was liberated 2 times. The army was able to kick them out. And you can imagine the Syrian army advancing along the highway, and all of a sudden a car bomb comes from over the hill. These are actually from ISIS car bombs. They get a car, they strip it down, they just keep the engine, and they put like big barrels full of explosives, and they pack the barrels with metal things like this, nuts, bolts, screws, nails, anything capable of doing damage. And once the car bomb explodes, all of these things will be shrapnels, shredding everything in its vicinity. In 2016, ISIS was advancing towards Palmyra in order to capture the city, and the Ministry of Culture started loading the artifacts and sending them to Damascus for safekeeping. However, there was not enough time to save some of the artifacts, so they were left here in the museum. When ISIS came, they started destroying the statues, the artifacts, and the things that were precious, they were taken and sold in the black market. They were took. What the fuck is took? The first Palmyrene people were Bedouins. Palmyra being in the center between the 2 superpowers of the classical world, Persia and Rome, their art, their culture, their way of life was a combination of East and West, and with traits or characteristics added from the local traditions. Palmyra was a mandatory stop for trade caravans coming from the east, and that's what made the town people very, very rich. A branch of olive symbolizing wealth and peace. You can contrast that with the current condition of the town. The olive branch is broken. How petty you need to be to destroy the temple and come back destroy the model. This over here was scribbled by ISIS fighters. It says, "Staying against your will, all of you." In Arabic, it makes perfect sense because it's a way of speech, like, even if you don't want me, I'm gonna be here, just to spite you.
How do you brainwash so many people, and I'm guessing it's more young and kids, but also so fast?
Incels. Sitting at home, having not much of an education, having no public life, no social life, and simply speaking, you just want to be part of something bigger. And this group comes along, they promise you heaven and the afterlife, they promise you money, they promise you power. People crave power and mainly crave being part of something. They crave to belong. So usually it's the outcasts, it's the people who have nowhere else to go. ISIS planted explosives, and as you can see, the only thing that's left is the entrance, the main entrance. There used to be about 20,000 wild gazelles. It's this big, that's a fully grown gazelle, and they just run and hop and the cutest animals ever. When ISIS took over, it was a barbecue party. This is how it used to be right before the war, completely full of tourists. You'll hear all languages, guides from all around Syria, French, Russian, German, Italian, languages you have never heard of. On a slow day, there will be like 1,000, 2,000 tourists walking around. And now, I can hear birds. At sunset, everyone would go rushing to their tour bus, driving up to the castle, with the columns being the color they are. At sunset, the entire city looks like it's made out of gold.
There are still little pockets of ISIS, possibly east of here, within a few kilometers. This used to be all ISIS territory. There are UAVs flying overhead. Apparently they're surveillance drones, although depends on who you ask, because the soldiers claim they're not drones at all. You're not supposed to ask many questions, although Ahmad tells me that it's actually a comforting feeling for a lot of people, because apparently it gives them a sense of security knowing that someone's keeping guard and keeping watch. Nobody's allowed to stay in the city past 4 o'clock. I gotta hurry.
This is an underground tomb. ISIS used it as a bunker. They turned one of the rooms into a dining room, and the other room was used like an office. And here you find the beauty that is almost 2,000 years old. The entrance to the hypogeum with Palmyrene inscription. That's Indiana Jones, this motherfucker. Inside, it used to have something like shelves, and on each shelf there's a body buried. All of this was open. So when ISIS came, they destroyed everything behind the cinder block wall, searching for gold or jewelry or anything that can be looted. Then they just closed it. These scribbles were by ISIS. Here they say, "Brother Jihadi, help your other brothers to clean the place after eating." Here, the same thing. "Brother jihadist, clean after eating, please." Again, "Brother jihadi, help your brothers clean the place after eating." And signed by the name of the person who wrote this, Abu Hussein al-Wahid. Don't forget Allah.
Don't forget Allah.
Ouch. Take the coat for being too tall.
It's an eerie feeling to be standing here. This is a place that didn't feel real for most of my life, Syria in general. And the stories I heard from here were stories from the news. It didn't seem like a place that anybody travels to. It certainly didn't seem like a place that I would ever visit. There are only about 5,000 locals left here in Palmyra city. Unfortunately, this is a very restricted area. I'm not allowed to film anything outside of these ruins, and while in the past I would have been sneaky and I would have tried to get some extra shots, I just don't feel the need to do so here. And hello! Syria is actually rich in oil, and still not long ago, Syrians enjoyed the cheapest petrol prices in the region. Nowadays, however, in no small part thanks to Western-supported opposition forces controlling the most oil-rich parts of the country, gas is unaffordable to most residents, and those who can afford it are only allotted a limited amount each month. Greeted by El Presidente's wide and ever-present smile, we finally reached Aleppo.
Aleppo, it's where I grew up, it's where I went to college, it's where I fell in love. The city was under siege for a couple of years. The city suffered one of the most brutal destruction since the Second World War. What's special about Aleppo is its people. They may be broken, but they are not defeated. They are still burying their children in one hand and rebuilding their homes in the other.
First morning in Aleppo, and the weather sucks.
Running from the rain, we met up with Ahmad's girlfriend and went to check out Aleppo's most famous export.
They cook the soap in winter. First it's green, and then when it's dry, it becomes this color.
And what's it made from?
من الزيت كوستيل زيت الزيتون زيت الغار زيت النطران
Olive oil and laurel oil and other things.
Some features may be exaggerated. However, for oily skin, it's amazing. It helps with acne. For dandruff, it's also amazing. Every single house in Aleppo, if you enter a house and there's no soap like this in the house, there's something wrong. Either they are too poor to afford it, or even the poorest of the poor can afford it. So no, there's something wrong. They have a problem in their head if they don't have it at home.
Welcome to Lopon Gallery in Aleppo City. I am Issa Touma. I'm creator, photographer, and filmmaker, and I'm still working in Aleppo even after all this year and war. We have many generations of artists here, but the generation of the 60s, 70s, 80s, they didn't develop something really important for the Syrian artist game. I think the war destroys something in the society, but always I find that the war become really as positive. It's terrible for the people who die, but as positive for the art and new ideas. The new generation start to change, and the war is really open new opportunity. I think there is a lot of hope. It's one of the pictures I love it, also that one. Maybe I should tell you the story of this guy. He was hating the President Jimmy Carter a lot, because when Jimmy Carter visited Hafiz al-Assad, so he asked to come to Aleppo because he liked Aleppo city. So this guy, blacksmith, he was very famous one next to the big mosque. So Jimmy Carter asked him, can I take your pictures? He said, yes. And neighbors say, oh, this is President of the United States. You should ask something from him, you know. And when they translated to Jimmy Carter, he said, okay, I can give you whatever you want. Just ask about. And the neighbors start to scream, car, American big car. But you know Arabic way to ask something, you know. Jimmy Carter should understand that he's automatically want the car, but of course, Arabic way, he say, no, I don't want, no, I don't want car. For us, if I ask you, like, you want tea, even if you say no, I should bring the tea. So that is the way. So it was misunderstanding way. So this old man started to wait 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 7 months, 8 months, and the car never show up. So after that, I start to give shit to the Jimmy Carter and say, oh, that guy, he promised me car, and he never sent it to me. I was child and painting very well, and I had really good teachers. When they find out that I have talent in art, they start to give me special attention. So later I start to develop myself. It was not easy, but to make stories by photography, I was one of the beginners who started that in Syria. Documentary photographer, we have really difficulty to understand what is it here. If you want to make documentary, you need to touch the society, you need to go into the politics, you need to go into the religion and things like that. But you can see today, if you talk to 99% of the artists in Syria, they make always the subject far from these three subjects. Self-censorship is really very strong in Syria. Imagine like if someone doing the subject, okay, this is can explain it someone as a religion symbol, so we should remove it. And second one, no, maybe can be political, we should remove it. So they make censorship to himself.
So do you also need to self-censor yourself when taking photos?
No. If I want to do subject, I do it, whatever it is. Because it's our message as the artist to get the responsibility of the things we do it, you know, to say whatever we can say it. Or don't do it if you are scared. You know, so finish. I was at the Rat River. I found big group of the women and children. This was the shower day of the woman. So every boy who's more than 11 years old stay with the men in the village. So other women and children go to the women to have naked shower and to wash all the clothes and everything, spend all day at the river. This is really strange because what we know about Eastern society, that the boys and girls, they don't know the body of each other. So, but really that in the village, in the east of Syria, they know it. And they know what mean that, you know, because they grow up with the body of naked women and naked boys, you know. I start to follow first story, second story. People they didn't understand. Some people find it interesting. Later slowly I start to get attention. Suddenly start embassy visiting me. They start to hear about my art and my work. I don't know why, so suddenly they show up. Before the war with my student, we always take any bus to any direction and come back by autostop. They always tell us, okay, go back of the car, you know. With the woman, you can stay there. We'll bring you somewhere, you know. So that is the way. So the women, they make always party on the cars because they see like we look like foreign things, but it's not safe anymore to do that because we don't know drivers if he's former fighters, terrorists, whatever. But before the war, it was really possible to turn all entire Syria to make tours without paying any lira for traveling at all. I just buy my Unicorn digital camera a few months before the revolution started in Syria. So suddenly, just 3 months later, everything started under my window. It was the first filming ever. I did it in this way, you know, documentary way.
In August 2012, right as the uprising in Aleppo began, Isa found himself in peculiar circumstances. A couple years later, his film, 9 Days from My Window in Aleppo, shot during those very days, screened at international film festivals and reached an audience of millions online.
اليوم الأول للحرب حارتي. الساعة 8:15 الصبح ناس غربة بلشوا يتمركزوا بالشارع.
نحن ننصحك تسلم نفسك أحسن لك لأنه نحن عن ربك إذا ما سلمت نفسك. سلم سلاحك وأنت مأمن بإذن الله. بشار تبعكم ما راح يكون. الله أكبر.
Syrian army was there. Opposition was here, next to the building. You can see the bullet until now. All this. see? And the checkpoint, it was exactly here, front of the building, exactly. So I cannot go out and in and at all.
محاربين مبينين مثل طلاب الجامعة، حالقين دقنهم، لابسين تي شيرت، حتى مو مبين عليهم ابدا انه هن متدربين على الحرب.
First day, of course, I have curiosity what is going on inside. Second day, when the real war start shooting between each other, you scare. Third day, you don't care. Fourth day, it become a little bit boring. This is not my original door, so they steal everything. انت شفت الفيلم؟ شفت الفيلم؟ The thief, they steal all our apartment. The militia, they steal it completely, even the doors and windows. When I start to shoot there, I start to save myself, not to show it later. Every day I was thinking, this is my last day. I didn't know what is going to happen. If it's my last day, I'm going to record that day. From this window, I shoot all the movie 9 days. And I was always a little bit far from the window to not allow them to see me. Yeah. Sometimes I hear just like the bullet crossing next to the, or horizontally next to my windows. It was scary, yes, of course, but I didn't know what to do else, you know. Sometimes I had the feeling that I will not come out in that days, yeah. But I take it the easy way, I don't know why, yeah. But also I hear a lot of the warriors down, what they are talking about, what their plan, everything, you know. It's incredible. They was talking that very openly on the checkpoint. And it was because the neighbors was very quiet. They're scared, and so it was so easy to hear every single word they said, yeah. So the other side was the Syrian soldier here, and the opposition was exactly under this window. So that's why I was hearing everything from them. And there where you see in the movie that someone died in the corner there.
And with the neighbors, were you able to communicate?
At the building neighbors, we was talking every day to each other. But sometimes like they hide here because one of my neighbors have like her daughter husband is from another religion, which is like from religions which cannot accept it from the revolutionary. So they come, all the family, and stay here 1 night, 2 nights, because they was scared at the last floor to stay there. At the wartime, you feel different against your neighbors. People all think about surviving together. One of my students, day 4, he just crossed the 2 checkpoints and bring food to me. Otherwise, it was not possible to continue, yeah. Day after day, it was going without plan, you know. They plan for you. They stop shoot, so you have peace movement. They shoot, so you have war movement. Sometimes it was so scary because especially when they use bomb and things, that was really like all the building moving like earthquake. So this was my sleeping room in that time. It was so beautiful home in the way you cannot imagine. Yeah, and this was my shower here. The balcony, you can open it. All this new now. What you see it here, the windows and doors, because it's all broken or taken during the war.
And you know, I see you have a lot of windows, which makes it for a nice house, but during siege, did you have to, I don't know, board up, close up the windows for safety? I imagine there were many stray bullets.
No, you cannot save yourself from the bullet. Nothing can save you. I still remember one sad day, very sad day. It was 22 December 2016. Aleppo United. I just crossed from my building because it was frontline for 5 years. And I start to walk inside the city. Suddenly, for the first time, I see city crying. The feeling of the sky so dark, even it was in the middle of the day, so dark and so sad feeling in the atmosphere. It's incredible. I still remember that very strongly. One thing good they make at the government that they clean up the street very fast, because in 2 months they almost opened all the roads, which was like full of the dirt of the war. So this has allowed the people to move faster and to renovate faster, and our streets become alive again. This is something I ate it in Bangladesh last year. So I don't know, I grow it here and forget what kind of fruit it was. You want to photograph it? Children play? Like kind of the war, yeah. In 2012 started a revolution between uneducated people. All of them talk about the God more than what the society need.
الإعلام الرسمي بسميهم إرهابيين والإعلام الدولي بسميهم مقاتلي الحرية. ما بيهمني شو بيسموهم لأنه قررت إنه ما أختار طرف.
When people start to use weapon, he become killers. He's not become messenger of anything. French Revolution, it was philosopher there, it was Jean-Paul Sartre and whatever. It was many intellectuals who's leading the society. Our revolution was led by religious people. Syrian intellectuals, they jumped all out of Syria. In wartime, people need culture more than any other time. When they left, the society lost their hope. So that's why I always stay here. Yes, of course I can die, but so what? We'll die one day. Aleppo in that time until today need 1,000 photographers to work inside because there's so much stories here. All my hope now in Syria about the new generation. They have the chance to change the society into much normal and much secular society. They need support. We need just 10% of the dirty money spent in war, then we will become really fine. Let's make a discount, 5% enough. So it's just incredible, yeah.
I'm about to make a whole lot of new friends. Very stinky friends.
What's up?
This is a little Armenian joint we found in the middle of Aleppo.
If you want, I can take this.
Go for it.
Shit. Digging in. Please. I just love anything meat. Divine.
That very evening marked the last night of Ramadan. To celebrate the Eid holiday, most of Aleppo never actually went to sleep.
It's so intense, but I'm gonna win.
It's the morning of Eid, and there's been a lot of people celebrating out in the center of Aleppo. I really shouldn't be filming since the soldiers keep harassing me. I shouldn't be filming when I'm alone, at least, without Ahmad to explain why a Dumbo white boy is pointing a camera in all directions. But yeah, but I'm keep breaking the rules. The city is so empty, but despite the destruction, it's so picturesque here. I mean, and yeah, the nice morning light makes it all the more cozy, I want to say, although, well, there's a lot of destruction. Those thunders back there, is it thunders or is it fireworks from Disneyland?
It's thunder.
You sure?
I'm sure.
Okay.
Because the fireworks, you don't hear them.
But you kind of have to say that, don't you?
Oh, you hear about them in the news, but you don't hear them.
Yeah, let's say it's thunder.
Apamea used to be the military capital of the Greek kingdom of the Seleucids. After Alexander the Great passed away, his generals divided his kingdom among themselves, and this part of the world was the share of Seleucus Nicator, one of his generals. And this site here, Apamea, was named after his Persian wife. This is actually where most of the Seleucid army was stationed. This is where they used to train the war elephants brought from Asia.
It's completely abandoned. There's not even like tickets or anything. You just pull up to a field with sheep running around and plenty of sheep shit, then here it is. Nobody seems to care. Of course, it's kind of sad because it's gonna fall into complete disrepair if it hasn't already.
The thing that made the Romans hesitant about invading the area here was war elephants, because it's basically like having tanks against foot soldiers. So they had several accords with the Greeks, pretending that they're going to have peace with them, whatever, but the condition was for the Greeks to get rid of their war elephants. And actually the Romans sent envoys to make sure that the Greeks are getting rid of their war elephants. So after killing the last war elephant, the Roman army invaded the region and took control of it for about 600 years, until the Muslims came and conquered this region. The entire site is riddled with these holes. These are illegal excavations by grave robbers or archaeology thieves. When the area was unsafe, it was basically free for all. So people would just come here, dig, hoping to find some gold, some coins, some whatever, something they can sell in the black market. And I think some of them succeeded. And now these things are sitting in some rich guy's basement.
Considering all that's happened in this country in the last 10 years, and frankly, even much longer than that, it's always nice to find this kind of place that offers some respite, calm and peace, and somehow a breath of hope. Yes, it's sad because this place is just gonna get destroyed even more than it already has been, looted and all, but at the same time, it's just a part of history, and as important as it is or was, it's also somehow irrelevant and falling into irrelevance. There's sadness about it, but there's also some existential truth about it. Every time in this country, you just feel a moment of peace, and then shit like that hits you. Imagine this fucking thing rolling over your village, shooting indiscriminately. Not my first war machine, but honestly, in any other country you see this, and you think cool memorabilia, but here the destruction is all around, the misery is all around, and you're not allowed to film this shit anywhere. But here there's one just sitting in the field.
With limited time on my visa, we headed back to Damascus, where Ahmad made it his matter of honor to bring me to one last place I still wanted to see before leaving Syria.
Here we can see picture for our great President Hafez al-Assad with the leader Kim Il-sung.
Visiting Syria is one thing, visiting North Korea is another, but visiting North Korea inside Syria, that's a whole other mindfuck.
Here we will see a documentary film about liberating a Mount Hermon watchtower. They decided to take it during the first hour of the war. I will ask you now to stand up to hear the national anthem.
There's army all around. At the entry, they take my passport, so I'm already crapping my pants. My mind is in overdrive, wondering if they're sending my info to the Koreans and if I'll end up getting quietly shipped off to Pyongyang from here. Although it's been quite some years after the release of my North Korea film, I had enough death threats and questionable silent phone calls in the middle of the night to have every reason to probably avoid any place remotely related to North Korea. And yet, here I am, feeling total deja vu. And from the very first moment, the soldiers might be Syrians, but the experience is 120% North Korea.
في عام 48 و900 وألف كانت فلسطين وشعبها العربي هما الضحية الأولى للمخطط الصهيوني.
I get led on a largely choreographed tour filled with colorful, surely completely true stories of wartime glory. Designed by North Koreans as a gift to Syria, the museum features 74 steps leading to a central hall. Why 74, you ask?
Our great leader, Hafiz al-Assad, they did a study about how many stairways can he get up on. So they designed the building with 74 stairs because you will feel tired after 74 stairs. Here we can see some letters from soldiers during the war to our great president declaring that they are supporting him during the war. These letters are written in blood, real blood, all in blood. This one is a Phantom airplane, American made. It's a bomber, not a fighter.
And finally, there was the massive, supposedly largest in the world, spinning theater, with an actually uber-impressive panorama showing the glory of the Syrian struggle against the evil enemy from hell in the October War of 1973. All jokes aside, when it comes to over-the-top kitsch art, few do it as well as the North Koreans. Well, I had a rush, and I only calmed down once I finally got my passport back from the soldiers and promised to send them a postcard from Europe. Syria travel is not a light-hearted experience. It is not a carefree destination. Life in the country is a struggle. Yet as strange as it feels to say it, I was genuinely sad to leave.
I've dealt with shortages in food. I've dealt with the lack of electricity. I've dealt with no water. I've dealt with siege. I've dealt with shelling. Not only me, the entirety of Syria. We simply adapt and survive, and that's why we're still standing.
In Dubai, when I used to go to a girl in a bar, and you know, we're looking to each other, if you say I'm from Syria, she ran away. Because when you say Syria, I can see it in her eye. All what she think is what she see in the...
She sees a missile.
I think people worldwide should start asking more questions and stop taking the information from corporate news and everything. It's a beautiful country. Man, we're smart people. We have doctors, engineers, and the culture is beautiful.
I've seen awful poverty and hardship before, but what's most upsetting in Syria is that much of it is man-made. There's no going back in time, but today, sanctions are hell. They serve political egos more than anything else, and whether they work or not, their collateral damage causes great suffering which could be alleviated overnight simply by lifting the international economic blockades. I'm hardly qualified to discuss the insane complexities of Syria's troubles, but I have a decent grasp on the human spirit. There are ghosts of the tragic recent past all around the country, but despite the collective trauma shared by all Syrians today, people's spirits are not dead.
I really love what happened to me personally because it took the best of me. You know, when you don't have choices, you create your own choices, so you create. The creating process of things, it comes from your own pain and misery. We can do things no one has did because we are the generation of work.
I want to say hello to Mr. Matt. من امبارح عم صرف له دولار على 1500. I was telling them how we had fun yesterday.
Visiting Syria is not a weekend party trip to Berlin, nor an adventure to find yourself in Bangkok. But it's not North Korea either. What I worried would be a restrictive, sheltered propaganda tour ended up instead being a deeply emotional journey through a surreal land. A journey shared with dear friends who used my camera to film these final shots on my last night in Syria.
It's Mad Monkey, as you can see.
Monkey. Hi there, I'm Matt. Good to meet you. How are you doing?
Here is me, at Mad Monkey. Here is Matt.
Hola.
Yeah, I'm making vlogs at this camera, but I'm having so much fun. I will take a tour for you. Say hi, say hi. It's a vlog. Say hi, Faisal. You want to say hi in the vlog? Say hi. So here is the bar in Syria. We are having so much fun. We are having tequila and
No,
drink.
she is joking.
No, I'm joking because it's Ramadan.
This is 7-Up.
We are having so much fun with our friend Matt. I love him so much and I would love to
Hey, I come from America.
Yeah, I would love to say to Matt that he's so cool, and I really love to spend so much many time with him. Yeah.
She ate about you.
Matt, marry me.
So do you have a ring? No. I have a ring.
Yes.
Well, I didn't move them all up. Put it on there.
Now we go to Milky.
What do you want to
Tell
know?
him something nice.
You are nice.
Sharif.
Matt, we love you. Welcome to Mad Monkey. Matt Monkey.
Ahmad.
Mr. Matt. Matt.
Yes.
Get the fuck out of Syria.
I'm fucking tired. Honest. Finally, some honesty.
From the main square in Damascus. Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
يلا بيكم
وبدنا نلعب ابوه ومعه الناس
يلا يا صهيب
خلاص خلاص انا مخليين ينكسر يلا يا صهيب
برافو 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 ايه
يلا يا صهيب الله
Bro, we are free, man. We are fucking free. And I hope through your movie, the people will listen and they will see how good we are and how we want to live.
Man.